Hi, I'm Paula. Welcome to my creative space here on YouTube. And today I am doing Create This Book 3 again. If you've been here before, what can I tell you? I'm hooked. And if you haven't been here before, welcome. And let me show you this is a book of prompts by MoriahElizabeth where I try to get as creative as I can. So let's start and see what I can do today.
Okay, so today I'm starting with the page I didn't get to last video, and if you want to see that one, I'm going to link it up here and I'll put a link below too. For this page, the prompt said to create a hairstyle. I knew I wanted to paint these hairstyles with my alcohol markers, so since those bleed through, I decided to use an extra piece of paper for my hairstyles. Because I wanted to know how much space I had for each hairstyle, I traced the faces on the paper before working outside the book. I started by creating just random shapes as hair, and when I had those, it took me a really long time to come up with what I wanted to do. Then it occurred to me to do one of the hairs like water. I was thinking to maybe do all of the elements, but then I thought the tall one would look nice if it looked just like a tree. And then it occurred me to make one with rainbows, and I even thought about doing one all with clouds, but I hated how that looked, so I erased it and kept on playing. The tree hair ended up being a mountain. Then I created a galaxy hair, and the other one I just left like a long ponytail. I guess I was out of ideas. Anyhow, they are not really a set, but I'm happy with how each one looks individually, so I start to outline them with my black pen. The only change I made when outlining is that I added a little flower to the ponytail so it wouldn't be too plain next to the others. Time to color them and have some fun. As I said, I used my alcohol markers and then gave some finishing touches with coloring pencils. I was gonna do the ponytail in monochromatic pink, but when I picked the green for the mountain next to it, I mindlessly painted one of her strands. So I ended up painting the ponytail in a bright pastel rainbow color scheme. Very My Little Pony, if you ask me. Then I moved on to the rainbow, and because I don't have all of the colors that I need for a bright rainbow in my marker set, I thought I'd use the alcohol markers as a base and then do the lines with color pencils. But this looked such a mess, it was really uneven, all the lines were crooked, so I reached out for my Posca pens, mostly because since they're acrylic paint markers, if I make a mistake, I can go back and paint over any color once it dries. I think I spent like an hour on this rainbow hair. I left the galaxy hair for last because I was really nervous about blending the alcohol markers, but I gave it a try and I was actually very happy with the result. And I think this galaxy wig, I'm calling them wigs now, is now my favorite overall. Before cutting my wigs, I decided to use this scrap paper to sketch the faces before committing to a final look in the book. And I chose to do them in a cute cartoon fairy style. I think they all came out great. I'm ready to put everything together, but before cutting the wigs, I protect them with some packing tape. This makes them easier to cut and is also going to allow me to make this page interactive, which is something I went for in my previous Create This Book video. I also went ahead and put some packing tape on the pages I'm going to use to protect them. Once all of the wigs were cut and ready, I decided to try out my idea to make them movable and thought my best bet for making them repositionable would be Velcro, which I didn't have at hand, but I did have this Velcro type cable ties that I use to keep my things neat in the studio. I'll link them below if you're interested to see the ones I use. I just took one strip and folded it, attached it to itself, and then cut little pieces of it in squares. I then glued the squares to all of the faces in almost the same place so the wigs would fit on all of the faces, and then of course I glued the tops to the wigs. Once the glue was dry and the wigs were securely attached, I tried it out, and yeah, you can just take one out and place it on top of another piece of Velcro. The one thing that did happen was I noticed I didn't measure the space for my rainbow wig properly, so I had to give it a little trim and cut to size and fix the edges so it would fit on the book without sticking out. That was it for my first page, and now I'm moving to my next prompt for the day, and it says to create a robot. At first, I thought about creating a crafting robot because I thought that would be so much fun with glitter, paper, paint, and stuff sticking out of it. But then I thought one of the things I would like a robot to do for me the most would be cooking. I know how to cook, I just don't enjoy it, to be honest. It's not something I want to do or get excited about doing. I almost always No, no, no. I always prefer painting, drawing, or doing whatever than cooking. So, yeah, that's something I want a robot to help me with. I started designing this cute robot and gave it a chef's hat. It also has an antenna for good reception, arms that extend and move easily, and it rolls on a treadmill. You can choose to order or get your robot with the additional super fast cooking oven on wheels that will chase him everywhere and prepare meals more efficiently. As I was drawing, I was thinking of an interactive component for this prompt, and I thought it best for the illustrations to be on extra paper for whatever reason. So instead of outlining, I traced my illustration with a pen on a new sheet of paper. By now, I knew I wanted the arm to pull out and the oven door to open. I did not know, however, what the mechanics for the page were going to be at all, or what the functions were for the robot, nothing. I was just happy with my illustration, and that was it. I truly had no clue about what I was going to do, and I was just thinking of stuff and making stuff up as I colored it. So once I was done coloring, I figured the best thing for me to do is cover the illustration with packing tape so it can handle whatever moving parts I would make up for it. And then I decided that its belly should be transparent so you could pull something and you would have like a screen in which you could order the food. The ideas for this were not clear at all. I know because it's edited, it looks like it was, but it wasn't. I think I would have been better off doing the crafts robot because I have more ideas on crafting, but I don't know, maybe because it's a cooking robot, I was drawing a blank. Again, you cannot really tell on video how long it took me to figure this out and patch ideas together. I was like staring at this page for minutes. But anyhow, I did came up with ideas, so I drew and painted the 2 extra back pieces for the belly screen and for the oven. I thought I'd make it work somehow once I had everything drawn and cut. Once I had the oven cut out, I cut a slit with an X-Acto knife for its door to open up, and I also cut out the window for the screen. I added some clear plastic to that belly screen and I pasted that background. I cut a piece of black cardstock to move in and out, revealing the screen, and after much trial and error and a lot of thinking that I should have not made this robot interactive at all, I made it work. It ended up looking well and working because you can pull the arm out while the other piece pulls out as well. So I was happy enough with it that I finally glued it to the book, as well as my little oven on wheels. I then just added some details with marker and some little star stickers to make them look like they're really speeding through the house and they are really busy cooking something up. Oh my god, I did really struggle with this page so much. It took all of my brain power. It was a big struggle. So that's it for this one, and let me show you the next page, which I think is much simpler. I chose this page because my birthday is coming up, so I thought it would be fun to do. Also, this idea comes from card making, so you can definitely make this as a birthday card instead of as a page in your book. And I just realized this video definitely hints onto what my next week's video is gonna be. So if you want to take a guess on what I'm doing next week, let me know in the comments. So the prompt says to create your wish and draw your perfect cake complete with candles. I'm not doing exactly that with the prompt because it says to create candles with wishes. And what I'm doing is just like a cute cake that pops out when you open the page because I still wanted an interactive idea. For that, I bring an extra piece of paper again and I just fold it in half. So for now, let's just put the book to the side and I draw a very simple 3-tier cake. Basically, it's 3 rectangles on top of each other going from the biggest one at the bottom to the small one at the top. I do choose though to make the tops of the tiers diagonal and not straight because it's my cake and I do love that tipsy topsy slanted to the side look. I think I chose this because I was thinking about Sleeping Beauty's cake, you know, from the Disney movie, the one disaster cake. I'm obsessed with that cake. I've always thought it was wonderful and I think it's more wonderful now that someone has created it in real life. I thought that was amazing. Anyhow, my cake has a lot of chocolate dripping on each tier. And then for the top, I wanted ice cream. It's really hard for me to choose what I like more, if chocolate cake or chocolate ice cream. And I love cake with ice cream too, so it has an ice cream cone on top of it. And again, because it's my cake, I wanted to add some heart-shaped sprinkles to it. I'm really happy with my design, even though it's simple, so I jump right into outlining it with my black pen. And once everything is outlined, I erase my pencil guidelines and start coloring with my markers. As I said, this cake has chocolate drizzle all over, and because I already painted chocolate, I chose to do the ice cream strawberry, which is my second favorite after chocolate, I think. I just wanted the drawing to look a little bit more interested and not all brown. I didn't know what color to use for the cakes, so I chose a little nice pastel color scheme for my heart sprinkles, and once those were painted, I thought the best color for the cake was going to be a traditional yellow, although that's definitely not my favorite flavor for cake. It is time to cut the paper, so what you do is you cut the top of every tier. On the top, instead of cutting straight, I cut around the candles and the ice cream so that they will also stick out with the cake when it folds out. Everything is cut, so I fold my paper again, and I noticed I missed the bottom part of the cake, and you're supposed to cut that as well for it to work. I still fold everything to check. You have to fold the sides and the middle out, or not out, but opposite to the paper fold. Yes, out. I don't know. You'll see. I cut some little parts I missed for the cake to fold out properly, and the bottom as well. Now that everything works and it can fold out, I do a little bit more detailing with colored pencils before sticking the page back into the book. And after I stick it in there, I realize when I close the book, a lot of my cake is sticking out. Today I've been really bad at calculating what needs to go into the book. But luckily, this was an easy fix, and all I needed to do is add an extra fold to the cake. I close the book again to make sure those folds are okay and to make them a little bit more permanent. And now you're going to see once I open it, the cake is a little bit 3D and it pops out. Last little detail, I added some confetti around the cake with the same color markers I used for my little heart sprinkles, and that's it. This was the last page I created today. Please let me know what you think about today's Create This Book video. It was a bit of a sweat. I had fun, but I gotta tell you, it definitely took a long time to do this. I don't even know how many hours because it did extend through a few days, but I really wanted to give you 3 pages for today's video since I wasn't able to do that last time. Here again, my little wigs that you can exchange and play with almost like paper dolls. My robot with the oven door that opens, the arm that pulls out, which I made a little too flimsy. I should have added packing tape to the back of the arm as well. Anyhow, of course, last but not least, my birthday cake. If you liked this video, please consider comment, liking, or sharing because it helps my little channel grow and it gives me the opportunity to bring more creative content for you. I hope you have the most wonderful day and I'll see you next time. Bye!